Mhm.
Hi, hello. This is our weekly broadcast. We are discussing here search SEO, search trends, everything new that's happening with AI and how it impacts us. We are from Smarty Marketing. It's the boutique SEO agency that is based in New York. I'm in Smarty. I'm the co-founder. I have been in SEO for more than 20 years. And at some point, I will have to change that intro because I've been saying that more than 20 years for at least a couple of years now. So soon it's going to be close to 25 years I've been in the SEO industry. So I've seen it all. I'm very excited about being able to report on everything that's coming because it has been changing much faster than ever. So it's a very exciting time to be an SEO. With me, and always, is my co host and also our director of social media and outreach, April. Thank you so much for being with us. Hello, Todd. Thanks again for always being here, too. I hope you'll have some cool questions today because today's broadcast is a lot has a lot to do with content. It's about keyword research. Before that, as always, I'm bringing some SEO news in every episode to keep you up to date with the most important updates in the industry. Today's update is that Google has officially announced that its search sessions are much higher than they ever were. They are now recording 5 trillion searches every what it was. I even forgot the per year. So 5 trillion searches per year. They are also talking about the new experiences like AI reviews, circle to search lens, and all of that. That brings brands in front of searches. And as we know, search is the best kind of traffic you can get because it's very intent based. When you're ranking for search queries, you give people exactly what they want. It's not interruptive. It's not like ads when people searched something they were not really looking for. Search traffic remains the best traffic that ever one business can only dream about. There are still many opportunities for people to discover you in search results, including local. It is still going very strong in terms of giving exposure to smaller local brands and helping them discover new clients. So there are still very many opportunities in SEO for both big and small brands. It is getting challenging though, and that is something we will be discussing today. First of all, we are all losing organic traffic. Google searches on the rise while it is sending fewer clicks to people that are to web pages that are ranking for in organic search. Why it is happening, I do have a very good overview of what's going on in my recent article over at Practical E-commerce. Please check it out. I discuss why we are all seeing fewer clicks. It's not just you. You're not being behind all other brands or other websites. It's everyone. We are all seeing fewer clicks these days. But, and that is another interesting thing here, there is still opportunity to keep your sales or your revenue rising, raising, and growing. So this is the topic we're going to discuss. A very basic one that is nothing new. Again, it has been going and has been a trend of people losing traffic from search results for at least 5 years now, even more. So we've been talking about that a lot, about creating search intent based content instead of keyword matching content. All of that is not new. So today is something to remind you of what is going on. And unless you do that, you will be losing more and more. That is more important these days than it was 5 years ago. So first of all, why we are losing clicks. This has been again happening for a few years now. Google is no longer just a search engine. It's the answer engine. It wants to give answers to their searches right away. And that all started with featured snippets and quick answers. Those are two different things if you didn't know. Quick answers are those quick snapshots of results. For example, if you search for something like weather, you instantly see the weather broadcast right in your eyes. You don't have to click anywhere. And there is no reference to the source. If you search for something like how to tie a tie, that's a featured snippet you're saying. That is something you need. You do see a quick answer, but there is a way to click to the search result that is delivering that answer. So ever since those two became an integral part of Google search, we started losing some clicks more and more as Google were adding more and more quick answers to search results. It's now getting worse now because on top of the featured snippet or a quick answer, there is now often an AI overview giving you an even more detailed and satisfying answer. So people have no way to click. They don't see where to click because, yes, there are references, but they're not as contextual as organic search results. That just, here is your answer and here is the list of URLs we pulled it from. But if there is already an answer, there is often no need to find the actual source of that information. So people don't click. It's my suspicion, just a disclaimer, Google doesn't give us any data in terms of click-through rate from AI overviews, possibly because no one clicks them and they don't want a pushback from any brands that are losing clicks over that, even though they are referenced as the source of the information. And also, just to remind you from the previous episode, the last update was that brands are starting to go to court to sue Google for stealing that traffic while referencing them as a quick answer. So that will also probably change something. That if that movement becomes mainstream enough, we need big brands voicing that they're not satisfied with how it works now. But before that, the reality that we are living in right now is that in many ways, Google gives the answer right in search results and doesn't send us any clicks or customers. So what we've been talking for a few years now is prioritizing your keywords based on search intent. In our SEO community, we know three, depending on who you ask, main types of search intent. It's informational, navigational, when people want to go to a site, and transactional or commercial, when people actually search to buy something or to explore options to buy and ultimately buy something. Those are very broad types of search intent. Google gives us a little bit more to think about. They do have several more types of search intent. First is no. No is our informational search intent, is when people search to know something, to learn something, how to do, what it is, what is it. But Google also has a subtype to that search intent that is called no simple. This is when people search to get a very simple answer. It could be one sentence. Usually it's how tall is that? How old is this? What is something? Those no simple search queries never, if ever, like very seldom, if ever, send any clicks these days, because at that point we see a quick answer that Google can pull right from its knowledge base. So there is no reference, no link to click. People know the answer and they leave. There are also feature snippets that are not as well clicked as organic search results, and now AI reviews that give those quick answers right away very well. In many ways, they have been improving them for months now, and they have learned how to give very satisfying quick answers at this point. So no simple is the subtype of informational search intent when people want to only know one quick thing and they don't need much else information or much else context. There is also another type that Google introduces of search intent that Google introduces to us that is called do. It could be informational, but it implies that someone wants to perform some actions. Usually it's how to do something, and there are steps to perform, so people have to click the link to understand what to do and how. There are quick answers, there are featured snippets, AI overviews ranking for those search queries, but they are not as satisfying. So people are forced to click links to get more detailed information about the steps they need to perform to do something. So do is still a great opportunity for publishers and for brands to get that relevant traffic and also put their own products or services in that context as one of the solutions or one of the steps needed that those products are needed to perform those instructions. This is still a huge opportunity for, again, for publishers to get a very relevant intent-based traffic that converts into sales. Okay, now there is a commercial intent. That's when people want to buy something, usually has to do with best products for that, best phone for this, for business, for example. Those people are directly interested in buying stuff. It's not that they are willing to buy right away, but they obviously exploring different options, comparing different options. So these are still huge opportunities, again, for your brand to increase your sales. And finally, there is branded search or navigational search. Anything that includes a brand name is everyone's priority. Check out my newsletter over at nsmarter.com. We just discussed that topic maybe last week or 2 weeks ago, how to optimize for branded search, how to monitor branded search, what to do to get more sales from your branded search or convince people who already know about your brand to actually buy from you or deal with you. So check that out and subscribe. I announce our weekly topics every week on over there over at nsmarter.com, so you'll have much more context coming to these quick discussions, maybe having some questions to discuss, and that's much more informational and valuable just talking about something. So how to prioritize, I think, is now a little bit clear, but I will sum up, give you some takeaways. No simple queries. It's useful to know them. It's very useful to cover them on your site because you do want your site to be the ultimate resource so that people can find all the answers on your site and they don't have to leave to search again. So all those queries are still very useful to know. They help you understand the different types of your clients. Those clients that, for example, are at the very beginning of their research, but they will ultimately find your solution, and that would be a useful tip of information for them too. So those queries are still important, maybe not for search engines, but we don't exist only for search engines. We want people to be on your site and read it and find it useful enough to remember it, to bookmark it, to share it, to keep interacting with it. Now there are no queries and do queries. So no queries could be also useful when people want to find answers to information, especially when that has anything to do with what your products are directly helping with. But expect them to lose traffic just as no simple because of those great answers that Google is giving in search results as well. Again, covering them on your site, researching them using tools like Ahrefs, SEMrush, is very important, is still very valid. You still need to invest your time in them, but don't be surprised if you lose traffic because of those pages, because of all those great answers. Now there are do queries that are great opportunities still, because the better the instruction, the more helpful the instruction, step-by-step instruction you are giving, the more chances are that Google pulls that information from your site and references you to people for them to click and actually perform all the steps. Those are very clickable, actionable, as long as you're doing a good job answering, explaining every step, answering all those questions that people also may ask while performing the instruction, serving your target demographics, serving your target customers. Some are basic instructions, some are advanced instructions, depending on who you want to see on your site. thinking about your target customer is very important when optimizing for those do queries. And obviously, commercial and branded search remains your priority, your hugest priority. Do a competitive research, see how they optimize their product pages or landing pages. Do something better, give people more information, things like testimonials, reviews, customers' pictures of how they're using or wearing or enjoying your product. Make it as human and helpful every product page as you can. Long tail commercial queries are just your greatest opportunity at this point. If you optimize your product page so that it comes up in long tail searches, that includes the color, model type, or size, or seasonality is great, like great red short or whatever mini dress, summer, red, whatever keywords you can include throughout the page, including the title, the H1, the description of the product, for those product pages to rank for those huge long tail queries. As from day one, in this very fundamental knowledge is that long tail search queries deliver the best customers because you give them exactly what they were searching for. There is not a huge competition for those because not many e-commerce sites can optimize for those huge but very well laser targeted searches. These are still your opportunities, so look at your site from a higher level point of view and see how you can adjust to that, how you can provide more information about each product on the product page to catch all those little searches and convert them. And branded search, again, your top priority because it is on the rise for every brand. People discover your brand through discussion boards, through TikTok, through ChatGPT or other AI platform, and then they search for you. So you want to be ready to give them all the information and convince them to convert. So check out, again, my newsletter over at nsmarty.com. I do have some screenshots from Google explaining every type of that search intent in more detail. Takeaways are there too for you to implement. It's very useful and actionable. And subscribe. And thank you so much. I'm ready for questions. I'm always tired. I'm trying to say all of that as fast as I can to take some breath. But I'm happy to get any questions that you may have and discuss that in more detail. I know April had a few great questions.
How do you determine the money queries to target for your website?
Well, usually they have anything to do with what you actually sell. So those are pages that have any type of conversion funnel set up. Usually it's a buy button, usually it's subscribe, contact us, depending on your business. So they are pretty much obvious. That's what you want people to buy from. Looking at competitors, again, is a great way to expand that list of your targeted search commercial pages that you may not thought about. Usually that's what I start with my audit to see what is missing on my client side. Maybe that's a product category. Maybe again, those are missing or not in informational enough titles for their pages. So there's usually an opportunity to expand the visibility of commercial search pages, organic search targeting pages by looking at competitors. And also that reminds me on one more thing that I wanted to mention during this quick broadcast is that those are all probably for businesses that sell anything. E-commerce, service-based like ours, right? Those are great suggestions for these types of businesses. For publishers, and I'm dealing with a couple of publishers as clients, there are no clear answers yet. And I think that it would be useful for all of us, who is coming to these broadcasts or reading my newsletter, to maybe share some examples of brands, of publishing brands that are weathering that search or organic search storm in a more successful way, and what they are doing to still remain visible and profitable. That's an open call. If you know such a brand that is doing still well, even though it's losing traffic, yes, they're still losing traffic. Everyone, including publishers, are losing traffic, but somehow they were able to adjust maybe their monetization strategy, or maybe their structure of the site, or something like that, to still be profitable. Because all we know, as far as we know, all the publishers are struggling at this point. So I would love to know some of those answers, or maybe see some of those examples that would inspire me. So please send me your examples. Maybe it's your site. Maybe you adjusted something in your strategy and it helped you remain profitable. I would love to know how. And thank you. More questions, please.
You mentioned optimizing for do queries and making them your priority, and in your newsletter, and putting your products in into this problem solving context. Well, I can bring my questions up again. Like, what is an example of putting your products in a problem solving context?
That's a great question. And by the way, in most cases that, in most businesses that I've been coming across with, it's a missing opportunity for sure. They're not doing enough on their blog to make their own products a context, like content, so product solving solution for product solving component of the content strategy. For some reason, even though blogs, that's what they are created for. One example that I keep giving to people is a huge brand, but it's doing so well in that respect, is Home Depot. You can search for something like drywall repair. They are ranking organically #1. There is underneath some local results, but organically their guide is ranking #1. And when you click, there are steps, very useful steps with pictures, with video help, and there are also products mentioned in every their own product mentioned and linked. There's also a separate section, like a widget in the sidebar of that guide, that lists related products. And it's such a great experience to read it and buy right away whatever you're missing at your home, to follow all those steps, get that delivered, and do actual tutorial. Very useful, very hard to summarize as an AI answer, because it's too much information, too many steps to make a useful AI overview of that. So clicks will be coming. And I think there is no AI overview even for that query yet, because again, do queries are not as easy to summarize, so they will remain visible in search results. And it also is, all the internal linking is there too. Usually all the product pages get very few internal links, because there are a huge number of them and people just forget to write about them. And there is no, as long as the only thing that people usually do to internally link to the product pages is related product section. That's it. That's the only way people can get to those related products. But this strategy of writing content and listing your tools as part of the solution is something every business should be doing, because going forward, that's what's going to bring you cold traffic, those that do not know about your brand, but they have a problem, and your products are solving that problem. That's perfect context. Google understands, ChatGPT or whatever, whoever is scrolling that content as well, and remembers you as part of the solution as well. Add FAQs underneath. That's a new thing. Everyone is adding FAQs for AI bots to understand what this content is about, and pull some information from that as well. So optimize it very well, but change your strategy to that problem solving process. Research all the questions and queries that can be queries and you can help create the content that cannot be summarized effectively enough for for people not to click. Those are very clickable still.
So like, would it be like a good idea for like a product page to have like in the descript, like underneath in the description, like what can I use this? I guess that's an FAQ, so I guess you already kind of solved that. But just like having like, what can you use this for? And
It would be, yeah. In FAQ can list, should list your products as well. Is like, what is the best, what is the fastest, what is the cheapest product to do this. Things like that can still exist on that tutorial, and I think it's useful. Maybe a comparison of different options that could be solving that issue with like pros and cons. This, if you buy this, you are missing that, but you can still do that at home if you have that, but it's cheaper. So whatever you can do to mention more of your products and get people more answers, depending on the process, depending on how difficult it is to actually follow those steps. Maybe there could be some no simple queries answered throughout the tutorial as well, especially if you suspect that customer to be not very knowledgeable. Like if you write on something like how to put a canvas on your wall or whatever, obviously that's the first of time anyone is trying to do that. I would be lost. So I would even want some definitions of whatever screws or whatever I need to use. So that would be a tutorial targeting a very, very newbie in that topic. But drywall, whatever repair sounds like a more advanced customer trying to find that, because I wouldn't be able to use those words. You should see me at the car service. I come there and I show everything. I need also this. I don't even know the keyword for that. So imagine the very newbie customer trying to follow some instructions. So you can tell from the keyword in most cases, could it be someone who knows the topic, who probably is much more knowledgeable in that, and those who has never done that, and they obviously need more help with, this is what it looks like, this is where you can find it, this is how you understand the measurements. All that information for the newbie customer for that particular keyword would be useful. So also, like I said earlier in this chat, also think not just about keywords, but also the type of the person who is likely to be searching for that, and how else you can help that person. That is always helping as well.
I have one more question. Also in your newsletter, you mentioned like optimizing for other parts of search beyond just like the shopping tab, like images and videos and the discussion sections. Like, what are some ways to get into those?
Well, adding as many pictures and videos on your pages is usually helpful. In most cases, it helps, even if it's an advanced user trying to buy something. Product images helps, and optimizing them obviously for search with file names, alternative text. All this is still working, especially for Google images that can be pulled into organic search results as well. For discussion boards, being a brand will naturally place you in discussions, in various discussions across the web. If you are still working your way to becoming a brand, and by the way, I have a tutorial about that as well on my site nsmarty.com that talks about how to get people talk and link to your brand. So check that out. But so if you are still working towards becoming a brand, being part of the community is the best way to be part of the conversation. Being on Reddit, be careful with Reddit, but it's inevitable evil at this point because it is still ranking very well in Google. Quora, niche discussion boards. As for Reddit, we can definitely help. We've been helping clients to kind of steer conversations to our clients, or even help in some other ways, like to make them more positive. Promote content on Reddit helps a lot to get that visibility on Reddit for people to be wondering what it is, and then checking the brand and then discussing it back on Reddit. So all of that, not an easy process, but all signs are showing that Google is not giving up on that user-generated content. They want personal experience with brands and with products and with just about any topic or tutorial. So being a part of that discussion is necessary for additional exposure and visibility in search results. With that, thank you so much, April, for discussing this kind of boring topic, but I think we did
fun.
I hope it will be helpful for you and help you change or at least adjust your keyword and content strategies. We are here to help if you need us over at smarty.marketing. We are helping clients with all of that at this point pretty successfully. So please get in touch and we'll discuss your project. I have 15-minute free phone call option on smartymarketing.com. You can schedule it, pay nothing. We just get together, introduce each other. You'll talk about your pain points, about your website, and I'll tell you how we can help. With that, thank you so much. Have a great week and come back Wednesday, 1 p.m. EST to discuss more useful topics for your business visibility in search results and AI. Bye.
Bye, everyone.